pan that I have sitting here in my shop, and it's small enough that I keep just kind of like moving it around. It's got painted black on the bottom. It was a I don't know, a linen kind of color at one point on the front, and I've been using it for like just for painting. And now that I've rearranged some things in my shop, what it's going to do is sit next to my register, because people need a place to put their paint on before they check out. And this is what it's looking like right now, right? And so, you know, that doesn't scare me, but for some customers, I want to make sure that they know that they can put their purse down here. It looks all clean and fresh, and so it's time to go ahead, jazz up this piece. So let's do it together. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this has got a curved edge. I can't quite see. Let me see here. So remember, I always go with the curve. Even if I do a paint line down here just to get the wet paint on it, I'll usually go over it and manipulate the paint to like swing it back over, okay? So it all looks nice. So first off, I'm just gonna go ahead and paint it a flat color here of one color of Bahama Jade. This is one of those colors that just people love. We sell so much Bahama Jade. It's one of our top colors. So I tend to, like, I think about like when I was painting for customers, and if you're filling a booth or anything like that, go with popular colors, go with the classics, right? But this is a nice one because it's pop of color. And the color of the year for the last 2 years has been in like the blue-green families. Like teals are really big right now. Blues and greens are the popular colors of the year right now. And so if you can find something that's a shade of like a teal kind of color, people are going to love on it because they're seeing it other places and they're going to want it, right? It's a trend. All right, let's do a little bit of distressing. See if I can get some of the colors that were under this to come through. So I'm going to grab a sand pad, coarse grit one. And remember, I painted in this direction, so I want to paint in this direction, okay? But look how nice black and Bahama Jade goes together. Like, heck yeah. So remember, I'm gonna do this. And what this will do is help me get out if there's any brush hair, and just really nice and set it down, okay? So if I'm gonna be sealing a piece, and I don't want it left all, you know, like really, just sort of rustic the way it is with just the paint put on it. This is a nice step to make sure you're doing, because it will polish your paint. It basically smooths it out, which is what sandpaper does, right? It smooths it out. It gets it ready to, it's even easier to use glaze if you take the time to do this, because you're smoothing out all those pores, and so your glaze will smooth it, will basically go over it easy, that sort of thing as well. Now what I'm going to do is do a stencil, okay? So let's talk stencils real quick. These are stencils. You don't see me use them too often on the projects lately, but they exist and I love them. I just want you to know they're in my stash as well. They just don't fit in my stencil book. Hobby Lobby has these beautiful stencils. These are the big ones, okay? You pay more for bigger stencils, but if you go to Hobby Lobby and you go to the clearance section, you find these for cheap, like regularly $20 and on sale for typically $4.97. I'm gonna use this stencil right here. So if I put this stencil in this direction, what's gonna happen is this is gonna feel wider. So I have to ask myself, with the flow of the eyes going up and down, do I want it to feel wider here? If I want it to feel more leaner, which I think I might, because I have a small shop and I don't want a fat, chunky table kind of like standing out in the way, right, in my register area. So I'm going to be better served if I go and I put my flow of my stencil with my leading eye from left to right, because now it looks leaner. Make sense? Chunky. Leaner. All right? Got that? All right, because I want this to look this way, as somebody said, the psychology of stencils, I want it to look leaner, and I've got everything pointing this way. I'm not going to go up and down. I ain't looking for any chunkiness. Looking for lean, cute little landing place for people to check out on, drop their purse on, and you know what I mean? So they have a place that they feel like as they're shopping in my store, that they can put the paint somewhere as they're gathering up their colors. So let's go ahead and put some black on. I love Bahama Jade with a black. In fact, I'm going to do some glazing in just a second, so you'll have to stay tuned and watch that as well. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. All right, so now we've got a little bit of something going on in the center right here. But now it's like, it's all really, like we've got lots of space over here. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on over here. So we've got to find some balance, okay? So we're going to find some balance, and I'm going to probably do two things to help give it some balance here. And balance is when your colors, let me put this down here so it can dry. Balance is when your colors not just appear in one part of your furniture, but it's carried over. And that's when it's most pleasing to the eye, when your piece has balance and you're like, oh yeah, those paint colors became a family. They blended together. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my sand pad, and you guessed it, I am going to do a little distressing. All right, I got a piece of cheesecloth that I can still make use of. I've got my water bottle as well, right? So let me get this ready, because remember, when you use glaze, you do want to move quickly. Let me just get this damp. All right, way to go. All right, I got my blending brush. You guys know I've talked about these. I love these. I keep these for my glaze because they're flat and it's easy to move my glaze. I love it so much. They're all over on my website, Sonia's Favorite Things, if you want the link to them. But now, real fast, what I'm gonna do is just put my glaze down right there. And remember, this is kind of a section in my mind, so I gotta move fast and do that section. What I would not want to do is paint this entire thing and then go back to this, because our paint is porous. The chalky style paint and the milk paint is porous. That's why you seal. That's why you plug pores, right? That's how you do that. That's why you do that with your brush when you work through it to seal it, because it does grab, right? So I just want to do this piece. Now I'm going to do this section here, okay? So again, move fast. I'm going to move this glaze over, and I'm going to go in the same direction as where my my paintbrush strokes went as well. So I'm going to go down, down, down with this, moving quickly, all right? And I can probably stop about right there, because now I'm kind of testing the gods. Now I'm trying to testing the gods. I don't want this to grab. If you want it to be really, really dark, you definitely would want to, you could keep going. But I want it to be dark, but I also don't want it to be to the point where it's not going to move, right? So there we go. Put some on the outside edge as well. Straighten up some of those lines with my cheesecloth. I love cheesecloth because it gives me some beautiful striations. All right, so there we go. Pretty nice, right, already. So you can see over here, unglazed, black glazed. So now there's not such a stark difference between the solid color and the black, because the black is the ultimate, right? You ain't gonna find anything darker than that. And so when you put this in, and you can still see that jade behind the black glaze, it basically gives you a step down. Make sense? So now you don't have two opposites of solid colors. Now you have something that kind of basically brings them together and makes them blend. All right. This has got a raised edge up over it. If I leave it all like this, now the table is going to look like it's longer. So this is a tip as well, because you're not breaking up your eyesight, right? But, so I kind of have two things I could think about. I could do some edging, the eyeliner effect we talk about here, with love and hearts in our eyes. And I could bring it into right here. And what that would do is give it an extra little something right here for the eye to look at, right? But if you're somebody that wants to make this look like it's all one level, just make sure that you don't do this part right here. You wouldn't want to break up your sign of your eyesight, okay, right here. Line of sight is what I'm trying to say. So, but in this case, I am, because I know people will put things on it, and if they're trying to balance something, I want them to be able to see that there's a raised step up here. And the cool thing is, our black glaze is going to match with the Bahama Jade. I'm sorry, our black paint is going to match with the black glaze, and our brown glaze matches with our brown paint. Did you guys know that? So that's why I say, if you're using black paint, use black glaze. You know, if you have it on your piece, because they match up. We designed it that way, so it would match up. Guys, isn't that really, really cool? Like, I love it. I'm gonna put an actual banana peel seal on this. So this is a piece I would want to wax, because there's gonna be all kinds of stuff on here, right? Like purses, and people are gonna be putting their paint on here and stuff. Now I'm gonna use my banana peel and go over my paint. Again, I'm gonna go in the same direction, and I'm gonna work quickly. I don't wanna keep going over what I just polyed. My goal is to get a light coat on here, let it dry, and then I can go back over it and add a second coat if I choose to do so, okay? Typically one to two coats of poly is what I do. Yay! I love it, and I'm not afraid to get into my work. All of our stuff is all water-based, so you can just go wash your hands later. I promise it does come off. Otherwise, I would look like, I don't know what I would look like if the paint really stuck. Yeah, right. I would look like I had a really bad tattoo and I didn't even want it. So yeah, and I'd be stuck with it. So now all we have to do is let it dry. I don't force poly. I don't want to let it, I don't want to put my heat gun on it or force it or any sort of stuff like that. All right, so this piece is now done. This piece is now done, my friends. All right, let me see. This will be actually the front of it right here. This will be the front of it right here, okay? Whew. All right, so we are now good to go. So how fun was that, my friends? How fun was that?